All right, so what I'm talking about today is a new wiper delay system the guys at NPD are carrying. I wanted to talk about this today because I am absolutely excited about it. And you may be wondering why I'm in front of my 1972 F100. The simple fact of that is I have a wiper delay much like what they are selling now in this truck. I also have it in this, and this. So I have a bunch of vehicles with this particular type of wiper delay. It's a factory forged style unit that NPD's selling. I'm going to go inside now and talk to you a little bit about all that's involved with putting this in any number of different vehicles, like I just showed you. Wiper delays. I know, probably the most exciting thing we've talked about in the last 6 months. For me, this is pretty big news though, because we have something on the table here that was really hard to come by and has been hard to come by for quite a while. That is the wiper delay system out of the F-Series trucks. 1973 to 1991 wiper assemblies were being pulled out and put in vehicles for the street. And what I'm talking about is anything with a dial style wiper switch, like this type of wiper switch, which this is not hooked up right now, but if it's got a dial on it, you can use this system to get wiper delays in your classic car. The nice thing about it is National Parts Depot is now carrying a delay box and a series of switches that you can use to put these things in pretty much anything on the street that has that dial system on it. The boxes have perennially been a problem. The boxes will a lot of times get shorted out. They'll have issues in them. Now with a brand new box available and the new switches available, you can go wherever you want, so to speak, and have this all work out. There are a couple of small wiring changes inside of this portion of it here that you'll have to look at. There's a site that you can go out and check this out on, and it is fortification.com. I'm listing it below me here, but you can also go down in the description below and I'll have a direct link to Fortification, which has a really nice piece on the wiper delay systems and putting them in an F100 truck. But the thing about that is it'll go into anything. But what I'm going to talk about next is the caveat in what I just said, because this is Ford and there's always caveats. Trust me. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wipe that delay box out of the way and I'm going to drag this big ugly piece of junk into the shot. This is where you run into problems with wiper delays. There have been a couple of switches available on the market to supposedly give you wiper delay on something like this, but I'm going to be honest with you and tell you right now, the system using this works better, but you can't use this with that because this motor system is just a Rube Goldberg thing. Your parking system for your wipers on a 1963-ish two-speed system all the way up through 1966, if it has this motor assembly on it, the parking system is an absolute nightmare. It's a separate thing from the rest of this. The arms don't work together. The mounting positions are kind of weird. Your best bet, if you have a two-speed like this and you want to introduce the delay system into your car, would be to ditch this thing and go to a one-speed motor mounting assembly and then get a wiper motor and wiring harness from a 1970 to 1972 F100. You can go all the way up through 79 on the wipers, on the actual motor itself. It really doesn't matter. And that stuff will all plug into the new delay box system that you can get from National Parts Depot. Why am I showing you the old delay that I've had for ages? Because I didn't order the parts in time, basically. So, this will not work, but the one-speed mounting assembly and all from the earlier cars will work. So if you can find a 65 Mustang with a one-speed wiper, you can pull the wiper mounting assembly out of a Falcon, I do believe, and put it into a Mustang. That bracket assembly will work in there. And then you can mount the two-speed wiper motor on that, because perversely, the one-speed motor looks just almost exactly like the two-speed motor from a later model car. No, you can't make this stuff up. So there we go. That's basically it. Now what I want to do is I'm going to pull this out of the way and I'm going to talk about switches. Now these are the roughly the three type of switches that you're going to run into. This is an original one-speed switch. You can see when you compare this to the brand new switch that NPD just released for intermittent wipers. that the back of these are absolutely and completely different. You're not going to be using this switch wiring harness to power this, but that's okay because this system here is completely independent of that. You have a power wire that comes into this. You can basically lay the wiper switch harness that's originally in the car off to one side, not touch it, and leave it in there if somebody wants to go back bizarrely to a 1-speed wiper. Why? I have no idea. But, so let's look at this again. So this is your 73 to 79 switch, and this is your 87 to 91 switch. And there's not a ton of difference between this and an original, let's say, 1980 to 1986 switch between this one and this one. There may be some slight differences in there, but either one of these can be made to work. Now, if I'm going to do this in a classic car, this is my pick. I would use this intermittent switch because it gives you a lot more wiggle room for things that you might want to do for putting it into a classic chassis. Because the shaft is longer, it allows you to be able to set the depth a little bit better for being able to push it for your wiper washer assembly. And I'm going to pull this one out of the way and show you why I'm saying that. When I do this and I put the barrel on here for the wiper assembly, and I spin that sucker all the way down on the 73 to 79, I stop right there. That's not enough shaft. I'm so sorry. You could shortchange this and use this one, but I don't really care for that idea. What I would rather do is use this one over here. Let me take this one out of the way. Take the nut off of here on my nasty old used switch and spin this sucker down on it. And it probably won't go all the way down because of the muck on the threads here. But even if it doesn't go all the way down, you have plenty of room, and then you have plenty of room for it to be able to depress. You're not going to have to cut a ton off the end of this switch, but you will want to cut some of it off, and that'll give you the depress you need in order to get the washer assembly to work. If you're not running washers on the car, then that's superfluous. You don't even need it. The one thing I will say about cutting the end off of this switch is it will void your warranty from the manufacturer and from National Parts Depot if they are offering a warranty on these kind of switches. Usually electrical components, once you buy them and you install them, they're yours. And that's really all I wanted to say about it. I mean, if you're going to put it in there, obviously you'll be using your original components. I think these are, yeah, these are even D'd correctly. What I mean by that is if you've got this to put on there and you need to put that in there along with your barrel and all that stuff can be made to work. Really cool that this setup is this way. I'm going to throw that to the side here and just kind of get this thing done and over with. So that's all I got to say about wiper delays. I know this seems like it's kind of those weird small things, but it's whenever something like this is released and is available that hasn't been available for forever from Ford and is getting harder and harder to find in the salvage yards, I am wanting to talk about it. So that's why I brought this out and went through this today. If you want to see more on that kind of stuff, like I said, check out the Fortification site. We also have a video that we did a little while back installing the wiper delay system in our 1972 F100. You can check that out below me here. Also, down in the description below is where that's at. Finally, let's talk about what we're going to talk about here, and that is Patreon. Go check out the Patreon account. If we've ever done anything that has helped you out and you get any value from this show at all, it would be nice if you would support us in that way. The reason I put the Patreon information here at the end of the video is because I don't want to belabor people with that kind of crap up front. I figure if you've stayed around to here, you're probably someone who likes watching our videos. And you don't have to join Patreon in order to help us out. You can also do, we have a super thanks, most lame thing to call a tip I've ever heard. But yes, there's basically a little tip jar down below me somewhere here. You can actually put some money in there. You know, YouTube takes, I don't know, 30% of it and we get the rest. But that's okay because it does help us out. It helps me to feed the kids on Saturday and it also helps to pay Andrew. Basically all the money from Patreon and all the money from the super thanks go to do that. It pays for food for the kids and pays their little bit of money I give them on the weekends, as well as paying Andrew's salary. Also, I am really tired of talking about this and I'm really wanting to get this done. Please subscribe to the channel. Please get other people to subscribe to the channel. Talk to other channels that you know and say, hey, there's this really cool guy and he does these how-to videos that are very exhaustive and sometimes exhausting, but he wants 100,000 people to subscribe. Well, I mean, hey, if 100,000 people subscribe, that'd be great, but we're really only trying to get like 4,000, 5,000 people to pop us over the top of 100,000 so I can get the stupid plaque, so I can put the stupid plaque, sorry YouTube, it's not a stupid plaque, I'm just frustrated, on Paul's wall over there in the corner of our studio space. So please, for the love of anything holy, fine folks, subscribe them up. Let's get over that hump and I will absolutely shut up about this for a long time to come. Well, that's it, folks. Do me a favor. Be kind to each other. Be nice to each other. Love on each other. Treat each other nice. We'll see you next week on Autorestomod. There you go. I know some of you guys are like, why are we talking about wiper delays? To be honest with you, my back is absolutely killing me today. I am hurting all the way down to my toes from sciatica because I did stupid stuff. And what did I do this morning to prep us up for this? I pushed a 5 million pound red SS Camaro out into the wind from here so I could do this. Nobody ever said I was smart, just marginally strong.